Hey guys, this is Jagus here, and basically about a week ago I posted a thread on Reddit asking you guys what kinds of videos you'd like to see about Soulstorm, and I got a lot of replies. Basically the general consensus seemed to be that people just wanted videos with kind of strategies, tips, and some advice that'll help like boost your, you know, um, gameplay. So what I'm gonna do here today is I'm just gonna face off against the computer for starters, and I just have a list of some tips that you should think about when you sort of play these games, whether it's against the computer or against another player, etc., etc. All right, let's get into it. So this first tip that I wanted to talk about was your APM. And this is a big thing for new beginners. They don't seem to grasp this concept very well, or when you're new, you don't have that confidence like an experienced player has. So let me show you what I mean. So basically, here I am starting off. I know the hotkeys to the sisters, so I can just press them like this. And this is basically what having a high APM means. Immediately I can bring the chapel barracks down, get one builder building the barracks while the other builds the plasma generator, get my two missionaries out, right click this point so when he's made he captures it automatically. And if you didn't already know, if you hold down shift with a building, it'll queue up a bunch of them all at once. And so basically what that does is once your builder is finished building the first building at the start of the queue, it'll move on to the next. And I can even queue them like this so that they automatically move to this point. Now I select my barracks and I BC, that's Battle Sister and then in Cannon S. Oh, wait, did I? Okay, I made two missionaries, but I forgot to set the rally point for that one there. If I select this missionary, shift right click that strategic point, he'll automatically move over. And then I can BL, build a listing post. And I quickly go to my sisters, move them out. If I have them selected, and then I press A for attack move, click, my sisters will automatically move to that spot, and on their journey, if they see any enemies, they'll just automatically attack them for me, so I don't have to do it myself. And it saves a lot of time. If I'm going too fast, I apologize, but this is what having a high APM is like. You've got to be quick, and you just got to be confident in your moves. So I'm constantly going back to my base, building my listing posts, build, get this guy, cap more points. Meanwhile, my battle sisters are moving out, attack here, upgrade the listing posts. Always upgrade your listing posts, always. I can't stress that enough. And now we can just do a bit of harass here. And while I'm doing that, go back to my base again, queue some more movements, servitor to the listing post. And I just keep doing this. Obviously, in a a player versus player match, this wouldn't be this easy. People know how to make their builders retreat, but yeah, I have it pretty easy here. So after this point, move there, capture that, build post, come back to the fight, get my Canoness into the battle, melee that squad, and this is where microing comes in. So microing is also a part of having a good APM. I'm watching the fight, I'm making sure that I have the upper hand, I'm not getting pressured too much. I see these Space Marines here, if they get too close, I can move away. I can keep attacking, move away, pressure some more. But I know that my Battle Sisters won't be able to take on this squad of Marines. They're just not strong enough, because Marines have a lot of HP. and damage. So now we just pull back like this. I can make another squad because I can see that Space Marine has 2 squads. Even with a Canoness, this whole force isn't enough to take them on. And I'm looking at my resources. I can go tier 2. I should do that. And keep upgrading listing posts. Get at least 2 listing posts done before you go to tier 2. I need a faith icon. So I'm going really fast here, but I'm just the main thing I'm trying to do is just demonstrate what having a high APM is like. I've even missed out on building some of these listing posts, but this is what you need to be doing. And coming over here, kill off this squad easily, and then immediately support this missionary. He's probably gonna die. He won't be able to run away in time. But now I can just come in here, move away my builders, and melee with the Canoness, because I don't want these Space Marines shooting on my sisters, because they'll just do too much damage. If you have a unit selected and you press Z, you can automatically switch to melee mode, and this stops you from having to, you know, switch the modes down at the bottom here. So you can just leave them on range by default and just go Z, melee, whenever you want. And now we just kill off these Space Marines, and now we have the upper hand. Here comes the Force Commander, so we'll have to... He's going for one of my squads. I can just do this. Just walk around, stop, goes for the next squad, that one stops and shoots him. When my squads aren't being meleeed, they can just stop and shoot. See? Run away, stop and shoot. Keep running. This way I take no damage, and he just takes all the damage from my squads shooting him. Upgrade the listing posts, obviously. Well, now I'm in a bit of a pickle here, so I should probably just, you know... I can attach her to my squad. She's gonna die because she got stunned, but that's fine. And we just keep... I'm tier 2 now, so I should be actually building more plasma generators. And I should have a pristine sanctuary as well. But I'm just, at the moment, just showing you like what having a good APM means. What it kind of entails, you know. It's just... yeah, just acting quick. Just being quick with everything. Don't waste time. Every second counts. You know, you can't be like coming here and... oh, how's this looking? What's this? No, just use the mini-map. Click, go to this location, go here, go here. Press full stop. Pressing full stop switches between your builders. And I have my Battle Sister squad set to control group 1 right here. So when I double tap 1, the camera focuses on them. Just like that. You see this little number 1 here. And yep, rebuild that listing post, come out, I'll make some 2 Celestian squads. I know the hotkey, so I can just, you know, just go to the barracks, tap the hotkey, which is E for some reason, for Celestian. But if you hover over the buttons, you can see what the shortcut is in that big square there. And actually, I better make the pristine sanctuary. I should have made this much earlier, but this isn't, yeah, as I've said before. I can easily win the game here now, so I know I'm winning, for sure. So what I'm gonna do is, I might just... oh, there's a chaplain, but that's fine. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I guess I could time-lapse the rest of this, so you can see that I do actually win. But, yeah, those are some tips that you can use in your fights. Might help you. Again, I'm microing away from these scouts because they've got plasma guns. I can't be too close to those. Get this chaplain. Just gonna ignore that. I can win the space trade. Decap. Always decap points. If you see any enemy points that don't have listing posts on them, decap them straight away. It'll remove +6 up the top here. It'll remove +6 from their resource pile. And that's good for you, obviously. And cool, that's it. Now on to the next tip. Okay, now that we've talked about APM, I wanted to move on to the second tip, which is going to be about, it's going to be more focused on using the shift key to queue orders. So let's get into it. I just really wanted to elaborate on this specific tip because this one really changed my gameplay from when I was, you know, still a beginner player. So first of all, we're going to build the barracks BC. Click. Then, pressing B again, I'm going to I'm going to press P first. And before I place the building, I'm actually going to hold down Shift and then click. Now, as you can see, the builder isn't moving to this building straight away. It's because I've queued it with the Shift key. So once he's finished building this, he's going to move on to this. Now, I'll just bring out a missionary here. And we can see once this building is done. Here's our missionary. And bang, done. And look at, he just moves straight on to the next one. And while he's building this, I can hold down Shift, right click the strategic point. And once the generator's done, he'll move straight to the strategic point ready to build a listing post on it. This applies to, well, it really applies to all units actually. So if I right click, move here, and then shift right click here, again he just moves straight to that location. I can go in a little circle and the missionary will follow that set path that I queued out for him. And you can see this builder as well has just moved straight to this strategic point. So what this means is I can start capturing this and then sort of look at what the next point I want him to capture would be. So let's say maybe this one. I can shift right click. Now he'll finish capturing this one, and then once he's finished he can move on and capture that one. And using this queue technique is essential to you know, utilizing your time more efficiently. Again, build a listing post right here, and while the missionary is walking into the next point with my builder, shift right click the next point. So he'll finish building this point, go on to this point. And that's how you should be thinking. You should always be, your unit should always be moving. Your builders shouldn't be staying idle for too long. You should always have some kind of action going on there. So that's queue orders. I'd recommend just, you know, just practicing with it and see all the little combinations you can do. It's a very useful function, and yeah, that's basically it for this one. On to the next one. Tip number 3. I'm going to be talking about economy. And this one is very important. I know I might sound boring now. My voice is quite, I've been told, robotic, but this is just how I talk, so just bear with me. maybe grab a coffee to stay awake through this. But yeah, so economy falls under the macro category. We talked about micro, which is what I showed you with like moving your troops around, you know, giving orders and all that with your units. Macro is more to do with the overall state of your economy, or how many, you know, buildings you have, production buildings, research buildings, listing posts, all that good stuff. Plasma generators, that is macro. Okay, I'm just going to hop into a game now. So when I'm in a game with like someone I know who is a beginner, I look over at their base and I can tell that they don't really know how to have a good economy, because I still see maybe their strategic points are still, they still don't have listing posts built on them, or they're not upgraded. So I'm going to show you what a good economy needs to be. Okay, sorry, I just had to time-lapse that, just to, because this part is just really basic. It's just capturing all your points. So I've got that point captured, immediately build a strategic, sorry, not strategic point, listing post on it. Always do this. Never leave any strategic points without listing posts built on them. There's literally no reason why you shouldn't do this. On its own, captured strategic point will provide +6. Building a listing post on it will provide an additional +6. So this whole point will yield +12. So +12, +12, 24, +20 from the HQ, 44, +6 from this point gives me 50 bonus per. Oh, I don't even remember how that works. +50 something per second. I'm not too sure, honestly. I think it's like. I honestly can't remember how that works, but either way, that's not important. So, I'll just finish this last point. Okay, cool. Now, usually what I do before I go tier 2, I upgrade 2 of my posts to LP2s. And, yeah. What that does is, the earlier I do it, the more requisition I will have built up over time. And then I build 1 extra plasma generator. So usually I have 2 LP2s and 2 generators before I go tier 2. And in fact, once I hit the 125, I'll go straight to tier 2 now. And while I'm going tier 2, I can actually keep building more generators. Now, if you're going for more of a ticking kind of playstyle, ticking is a strategy that some experienced players use, where they focus on their economy as much as possible, so that when they have a big surplus, they spend it all on really strong units and build a really strong army at the cost of not having a really strong force early on. But let's say I build 4 generators before I hit tier 2, and what I'm trying to do is stockpile power, because I'm going to show you when you hit tier 2, it's something very important that you should always try to research when you're in tier 2. And while we're at it, may as well upgrade these 2. So this is what you want to be seeing. You want your economy to be in the +80, like 80, 90 range by the time you hit tier 2. And just look at how quickly that goes up. That's good. Alrighty, now globals. I'm going to explain to you about globals. So if you click any listing post, you'll see this button here, escalate engagement research, 75 requisition and 250 power. So provides a global bonus to requisition resource production rates. Perform this research if you have an excess of power but not enough requisition, first of 2 possible upgrades. So what this will do is, and I actually crunched some numbers on these to give you an idea of what it does. So what this does is it gives you a 15% increase to see whatever this number is here. So plus 92, that plus 15% is what this will provide. And that just gives me a little boost in requisition. And it's great. Like, you need this. You absolutely need this. Anytime you can research this, do it straight away. And go to any generator, you have the same thing except for power, provides a global bonus to power. It's 200 requisition and 40 power. And we obviously have a lot of requisition, so we're just going to research that. Now this one will give you a 33% increase. So plus 40 plus 33%. I know I'm dropping a lot on you right now, but trust me, this is useful. If you can research the globals, ask any experienced player, they'll tell you, always research your globals. If you're up against a player who doesn't, you will have the upper hand, and you will make an army way faster than him, and you will win. So, and that's what we want. We want to win. Alright, I'm just going to build more generators. You don't really... I don't think you need 6 generators when you're going tier 3. I don't think it's essential. Definitely focus on your army more. But I'm just going to build these now, just so I have enough to demonstrate for the tier 3 global bonus. So I might just time-lapse this part, just until I hit tier 2. Okay, I'm just going to quickly cut in here and explain something. So this is pretty standard. Usually in most games, you'll have at least, if not 4 points, at least 3. So basically, before you hit tier 3, you want to have all these points at LP2 or higher. So 4 points, and plus the bonus will give you plus 105 requisition bonus. So that's what you want to be aiming for by the time you hit tier 3. Now, okay, here we are in tier 3. I'm going to select the listing post, full scale war research, click that. That's the tier 3 global bonus for Rick, or blue money if you want to call it, and the plasma battery storage research for the green money power. I'm going to research both of those. So this one for blue, the tier 3 will give you an additional 20% increase, so plus 105 plus another 20% added on to that. And for the green one, it'll be another 20% as well, so 79 plus 20% on top of that. And if you watch these numbers up here, once the globals are finished researching, you'll see that my economy will be looking very good. Alright, blue is about to be finished. And boom, look at that, plus 126. That is beautiful. I love it. Mwah, I love to see that. And green is about to be finished. And that will give me plus 95. Again, very nice. Could be more. I might even build an extra HQ just to build more plasma generators, but that's totally on another, totally different subject, so we won't be talking about that right now. And so this is what you want to be doing. Always getting these numbers as high as you can. And it gets a bit tricky, I know, because you might be thinking, I'm supposed to be focusing on all of these while also managing my army and all of that other stuff. And yeah, it can get quite hectic, you know, you're trying to focus on all these different things at once. So all I have to say is focus on the fights mainly, But when you sense that there's a bit of, things have quietened down a bit, like your opponent's not really attacking you, there's a lull in the battle that you can sort of feel, that's when I would recommend doing the researches for the requisition in power, and also upgrading your listening posts. And to sort of like make sure you have enough resources to do these things, try to make units that will be able to give you a lot of value. So by that, what I mean is, for example, making a Battle Sister squad probably isn't a good idea if I'm going to be fighting Space Marines, because if my Battle Sisters die, I'm constantly reinforcing them. Every time I reinforce, I'm not going to have enough. I'm going to be using resources that I could be using to focus on my economy instead. So you always got to be thinking of that. If you're focusing on your army, there is that sort of drawback where your economy is suffering. So you got to find that right balance between battling and focusing on your economy. But researching these globals will definitely pay off in the long run. It's like an investment, so definitely get those done when you can. So again, just think about that for a little bit and practice. Excellent. On to the next one. Alright, tip number 4. This is going to be about hotkeys. Now, hotkeys are very useful. They make everything you do much quicker. You don't have to move your mouse to do things, and we like that because that is faster than... It's fast, okay? That's that's the main thing, it's fast. So, I'm going to use Tau as an example here. Basically, with any builder unit, to open up your build options, press B. No need to click on the little spanner icon down here, just press B. But for these individual buildings, you will have to get used to that race's unique hotkey assigned to that building. So I know for Tau, I think it's B, yeah. B for the Tau barracks, so that's basically BB. Then we do E for the Earth Chaos Builder, SS for stealth suits, and J for the jump pack research. So that's a basic build kind of hotkey there for you, for the builders. Okay. So the next hotkey I would like to explain is Q, which is stop. Basically does the same as this function here, the red octagon. So with a unit selected, say I'm moving over to here, if I press Q, the unit will stop. Now this is handy, like for example when you're in a fight, if I just move my guy out here, okay, perfect. He shoots, I press Q to stop, so he shoots on the spot, right? I can right click, he can move closer maybe. Get a bit closer if I need to, press Q, stop. Oh, that was J as well. That's another hotkey I can add in there. J to jump. Any units that can jump, just press J for that. Okay, so that was Q. Now, the next one I want to talk about is Z. Z is does the same as this button here, attack melee. And I did explain it in the micro tip. If I see an enemy and I press Z and click on that squad, my unit, if he gets close enough, or do it on this building, will engage in melee. Like so. Right, so pretty self-explanatory. I don't have to switch to melee and then attack melee, I can just use Z instead. Cool. Now, on to the next one. R. So R will reinforce my squad. Pretty straightforward. It does the same as this button here. Um, oh, A, attack move. Did I explain? I didn't explain attack move, did I? Attack move is this one here. So, I chose Tau to explain this because of their long range. This is perfect. So basically, let's say I just reveal... Oh, okay. Reveal this listing post here. We'll just kill that, why not? Okay, so let's say I want to attack this listing post, but I want to get as close as I possibly can without having to right click in Q and right click in Q, right? So if I press A, you can see this big red circle. This is the Tau commander's range, or any unit. This is their range. So when a unit enters that circle, that's the maximum distance he can attack it at. So if I press, I've got A pressed now, and I click here, he will move, and then immediately stop and attack automatically. And that's good, because now we're utilizing the maximum range of his weapon. So as you saw, when the enemy leaves, he'll keep moving in that direction, and then stop and attack again. Oh wow. I love Tau, it's just so long range. So I can do it the same with these Fire Warriors. If I press A and go on the listening post, they will stop at their maximum range possible and automatically begin attacking. And that saves a lot of stress for me, because I basically let them do the work for me. Okay, and I did explain full stop, which is to cycle between builders. There's also the comma key, which will cycle between your idle units. So units that aren't really moving will be cycled through in this hotkey. And I do have this on hard difficulty, so the AI is going a bit crazy on me. But that's fine. And then, oh yes, control groups. So I mentioned control groups in the micro tip, but basically when I have a squad selected, I hold control and then press any number on my keyboard. And now you can see I pressed 1. I assign these to control group 1. So now when I press, say, nothing selected, and then I press 1, they're selected, and then when I double tap 1, focuses the camera onto them. So I'm over here, double tap 1, focuses onto them. And that's control groups. You can have as many squads as you like in one control group. I can make all of these on 1. See, nothing selected, press 1, all of them selected. Let's say one of the squads of the control group is way over here. What happens when I double tap 1? It'll try to focus somewhere in the middle between them. So just bear that in mind with your control groups. It's a good idea to learn the hotkeys for the abilities of the units as well. What I would recommend is picking your favorite race and learning everything about them, their hotkeys, build orders, all of that good stuff, so that when it comes to playing them, you can just boom, bim, what's that, Path of Lightning, Reinforce, F, Fire Warriors, S, make more stealth suits, listing post selected, press U. Oh, I don't have enough resources, but pressing U will upgrade it to an LP2. I think that applies to all the races. Force Commander, I know G is his special ability shot. Just stuff like that will, you know, just make things more efficient when you're in your plays. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for hotkeys. So yeah, just like I said, pick your favorite race, learn everything about them, hotkeys, build orders. Definitely use attack move, it's great. these fire warriors are automatically attacking for me from all the way back here. It's beautiful. Attack move is so good with long-ranged infantry. So useful. One thing I will mention that's not really a hotkey, but I think it is useful to know, is the Overwatch. So if you right click, it applies to any of these buttons, but for now I'll just do it on the reinforce button. If you right click, it'll put on Overwatch, meaning that as soon as you have the available resources, it will automatically add an additional squad member for you. So right now, just then I didn't have enough resources, but as soon as I hit 70, it instantly queued another reinforcement there for me. And that can be handy when you don't want to be microing your troops too hard, but just be careful that you don't end up with zero you know, resources because you forgot to turn it off or something. You just simply right click it again to turn it off. Right click and then right click again. You can use it for, you know, producing units. It does not work for researchers though, so just keep that in mind. Alright, cool. That's it. Alright. Tip number 5 is practice. Yes, we all love the nice cliche, practice makes perfect, blah blah blah, but really, what I mean by practice is commit everything to muscle memory. You really want to make sure that everything becomes automatic, and you don't really have to think when you do things, because you've just done it so many times that it just comes naturally. So, yeah, what I would suggest, maybe just practice against the computer. If you're still new, start on easy difficulty and just work your way up the difficulties until you can, say, beat Insane like 10 games in a row, all victories. And then you can move on to multiplayer. If you already are a kind of like a online player, just keep practicing against good players and don't be upset if you lose. Losing shows you, you know, things you might have done wrong that you need to watch out for next time. So it's good to make mistakes so that you learn from them that way. And trust me, you will become a much better player after that. Alright guys, so I'm just going to wrap it up here. Please let me know like what you guys thought of this tutorial video in the comments. If you liked it, if you hated it, if there was anything I might have missed out on that you want me to maybe explain a bit more or make a video series about more. Yeah, please let me know all of that good stuff. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.